Hello, everyone. I love how Tugs is like eating, and I'm like, I wanted to grab a bottle. So this is for my birthday. It's a bottle Prosecco, Bottega Gold.
It's a what? It's a what?
Prosecco from Bottega Gold. Sorry, it's really hard to read.
Fancy.
I know. I just really wanted to buy it because it was so cute at the front. I mean, that's how they get you. That's really how they get you.
It looks like a rose goldy.
I know. I'm so excited. Well, I mean, the room is pink colored, so it's actually gold, but coming off rose goldy. So yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Extra Girl, and this is Tugs to my left over here. And
channeling my inner Brittany Venti, and I'm eating.
Oh, eating on the street. She does. Now we just need you to burp at this point. That's it. That's all that we need. And
where did she get, like, where does that come from? She's this big.
So I think her burps are a result of her swallowing a lot of air as she talks/eats.
I can see that.
And then that's how she burps. So yeah, that's the only way. And I mean, she has good burp control, I guess.
My favorite thing is watching the chat when she does that. Like, people get so mad.
I mean, people get so offended by people burping, but that's just a way to weed people out. If that's who you are, that's who you are. So
that's true.
Yeah, we got tons of people in chat. We got Shield Wall, Hokies, Frog Finance, Jay Penbar, Cajun Corey, Stephen Brown. Who else? We got Hal, Deranged Lunatic, aka DL. Holocron's here as well. Oh, you don't have a wrench. I'm gonna give you a wrench. Yeah, there we go.
Hi, Hokie.
So yeah, today we're going to talk about, as our title says, vasectomies and high-value males. Now, there has been, as Frog Finances says, anyone comes near my junk with a sharp object, they aren't living to tell the tale. Now, Frog Finance, how would you like to Minecraft this person? Just a question, just a question. So recently we had... It feels so weird that two separate people from two very different spheres have spoken about vasectomies, which if you guys don't know, a vasectomy is where it's a surgical procedure for males, biological males, where it prevents the possible impregnation of women. So no spermies in the juice.
Yeah. And it's reversible. Well, I think there's two different kinds, and one of them is reversible.
Yeah, I mean, don't quote me. We could look into it if you guys really want, but it's kind of funny that it's come up in two different areas. We have one being Rollo Tomassi, as you guys know, is the rational male who we were on Access Vegas, and surprisingly, Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, I've never heard so many people talk about. Excuse me. Nobody asked you. You don't have any. You were a girl cat. This doesn't concern you.
Yeah. We haven't had so many people talk about vasectomies this last 2 weeks, because initially Rollo's tweet came out. If you guys want to see here, okay. So Rollo Tomassi says the quickest path to becoming a high-value male: 1, do not get married; 2, avoid family creation, aka having babies; 3, vasectomy in your 20s. Which also kind of deals with number 2. 4, lift consistently. 5, eliminate all sedations. So I guess that's like your alcohol, your drugs, and all that. 6, learn game and networking. 7, play to your strengths, build wealth. 8, resist easing up on your focus. Now, Rollo, as I've learned, is he likes to poke the bear.
Yeah, so I know you had showed me this tweet and you were like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about this, blah, blah. And I had said to you something like, I think he's not being serious. So no, that was, I don't remember the last time we were on. It might have been last week. So the next day, Pearl from Just Pearly Things had him on her show. First of all, I was so bored. I'm going to be fully honest with you. I didn't finish it. I did not finish the stream. But apparently towards the end of the stream, some drama happened because she invited Nick Fuentes and a couple of other people. Yeah, and there was like, but I can't go back because she removed it. And there's no clips. She didn't put any clips of this anywhere. And it's been like a week. It's weird. Super suspicious. Pearl, what are you doing? Anyway, but he basically was like, I've been married for 27 years. He wouldn't admit if he has children or not, but a couple of things he said, and I don't remember the specifics, makes me think that he does, and they may be a little bit older. I don't know. But he's like, I've been married for 27 years. You know, I said this is the quickest way. I didn't say it was the best way. Basically the whole internet, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, I think, got involved. I know Matt Walsh got involved. All saw Sydney Watson and Lauren Chen all saw this tweet of his and was like, vasectomies, you're insane. The red pill movement is so bad, blah, 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 blah. And he basically went on Pearl's channel and was like, I wasn't being serious, and I said it was the quickest way. I never said it was the best way.
And it's not the only way. And that's why I think, like, you know how Gary, he will put Miles Morales as Miles Morales. He's not Spider-Man. That's kind of like semantics. And I think that's what happens with a lot of Twitter drama. So, I mean, if we look back at the list, like, it's a pretty dramatic list.
Well, my thing is this, and I think this is where like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh were coming from, because there were some, I mean, everybody lost their minds. You can go to the tweet yourself and read like the quote tweets and blah, blah. You know, and he was saying on the stream, whether you believe him or not, like I'm not advocating for any of this stuff, but it's also like logically, some of it makes sense. And I see where he's coming from. But here's the thing. And this is where Allie has made this concern before, and there's been other people that are against the red pill / manosphere movement as a whole, or where it's going. And they're not wrong, is there are so many people at this point, so many men, young men, that look up to the Rollos, look up to the Tates, look up to those kind of guys that are going to take this advice to heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that doesn't help anybody. And
that is the danger, because you don't know if he's being facetious online on Twitter. Is this why the tweet was? Oh, wait, what did I say?
Yeah, I retweeted Pearl's thing and she deleted it.
Oh, I see.
I left our tweet up though, so whatever. But yeah, that's the thing. And I think that's where a lot of people on the conservative side are, and they're not wrong, because the feminists, the hardcore feminist, crazy people want women single and alone and childless and hate men and all the stuff. And the red pill, super far red pill people are, at this point, at least in my opinion, that it feels like it's getting worse. I don't disagree with it, and I see where it's coming from, and they're right. But at this point, there's this weird, I don't even know what color it would be, almost blackish color, blood red color, that's super dark compared to where the movement started, just as with anything, that wants men childless, single, alone, no trusting of anybody. Like, so you're basically feminist, but for men is where this is going.
And I think that, like,
careful.
It's not like completely everyone's fault. Like, the thing that the red pill movement is kind of moving towards was truth, and now it's inflaming the truth and causing a lot of anger, especially towards women. I find like I've had arguments on stream with people in chat, and it's like, I think that everything has to come with nuance. Like, this tweet comes with nuance. It's not just the quickest path. He didn't say the only path, the path.
And he's not wrong. This is the quickest path. Like, he's not wrong.
Yeah, and you know, you can be a high value male and not have that end goal, having the family. So it's like, are you really, if you just want to be a high value male and bang a bunch of chicks, sure.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing: in Shield Wall, the whole point of vasectomy thing is about not getting false claims of paternity. They invented an easy form of male birth control. Birth rates would plummet. Here's my thing, and we tell this about the women all the time, and it's not in a judgmental way. And we've been their way. Do what we've been telling the girls to do, which is stop sleeping with everybody. Stop sleeping with the OnlyFans girl in the club that's got the big tits. We know she's cute. We know your pecker wants that. I get it. I feel you. I get it. Okay. But is that the wisest decision? No. And if you end up getting her pregnant, that's hello. Come on, guys.
I think
there's got to be a balance on both ends here. You
like,
know what I mean?
Both men and women, when we think about, you know, they say
Everybody
women, like,
their legs.
don't open your legs unless you want, like, you are okay with the consequences. Are you okay being impregnated by this man? Are you okay
Or
impregnating this
in
woman?
this girl. Yeah, exactly.
And I
Toxic advice 2023. I mean, just feel like it should be, if we're going to ask the women to do it, we should also ask the men to do it. And I know you guys have
Yeah,
these primal
equality.
urges.
I mean, I'm joking, but like, but actually, kind of, at least in this little section, because you have your biological need. You know, you see a hot girl, you see a hot guy, you're like, I want babies. Your body says that, but then you still have your head. This is why we're not like the animals in the animal kingdom and just like trying to hump everything possible, right? We still know, okay, if I have a child with 7 different women, I have to take care of these 7 different kids, especially with the way our culture is right now. You know, there's things like child support and whatnot, and the courts will make you do it. So you have that part. What does this say? Cajun says, if men really need to feed the ducks,
they can just feed the duck. I think that's a euphemism for polishing the bean. No, not the bean. Polishing the what is it? God, the knob. Polishing
the knob. Yes.
Oh, that's not the one I wanted.
I think we need to play the song.
Yeah.
Sorry. One second. Where is it? Oh. There you go. Men, you go feed those ducks. I know it's not as good as the, you know, the real thing, but the finish is all the same, isn't it?
El Presidente? Am I saying that? I know it's supposed to be Presidente. My brain cannot wrap around this word. Presidente. Sorry, Bear. Rollo is only focused on the dollari. I don't even know what that is.
You mean the dollar? Maybe the dollar.
How boring a life he wants for every man. Oh, well, there's that.
Well, and that's another thing. They say high value men. They really equate a lot of the podcasts. We'll call it the podcasts. Equate high value men with money. But if we look on the Google definition, because of course Google is always right, a high value man is the epitome of masculinity, leadership, charm, and sophistication. He is a man of means and influence.
I feel like we've taken this whole high value man thing and gone too far with it.
But I think also a big part of it is women do value a lot of men who have money. And
I know it's so twisted at this point. Like it's just gotten so wild, and I don't think that anybody is winning here. I really just don't. Andrew Tate, as much as I agree with some of the things he says, that man is insane. He really is and I think he's doing, in the long run, we might not see it now, but I think that the things that he says is going to end up doing more harm than good, because if you go to his tweets and you read the replies, it's all these 18 to 25-ish-year-old guys, and they're like, yeah, King, yeah, Tate, top G follower, I want to be the top G, F women, you know, blah, 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 blah. And Tate has come out and he said, like, I'm not against marriage, I'm not against, you know, finding a good girl and starting a family and getting down, but you wouldn't know it listening and watching all of his stuff. You know what I mean? So I feel like there needs to be a balance on both ends, right? It seems, especially lately, very clickbaity. And Matt Walsh made a good point on a video last week or the week before. He did a video about something where he is like, why your society, the government, whoever picks somebody, is wanting you to not do these things. They want us to get away from God. Pick a God, doesn't matter, mostly Christianity, but pick any God. They want us to get away from religion. They want us to get away from morals. They want us to get away from family. They want to keep broken homes. They want to indoctrinate your kids, blah, 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 blah. So you as a young man are going to see that and go, gosh, that's awful. That's terrible. And in retaliation, you're going to do exactly that by following the red pill, black pill, manosphere, MGTOW, whatever movement, pick one. He's like, that's not going against the establishment. That's literally doing what they want you to do. So when he's got a point too, it just is, there's just two extremes and they both have points, right? I think we can all agree that both sides have very valid points, but as usual, something starts out nice and completely goes that direction for no reason, not whatsoever. And I just realized all my trash. I'm so sorry. Ignore my trash.
Smoking Patriot. This is interesting. Did you hear about the professional matchmaker that quit her profession because of how delusional all her female clients were? She created a video talking about a high value man is so subjective, by the way. And I agree. It's the same thing when we say, when we look at a man or a woman, we can judge based on looks. Everyone's going to have differences, of course, on what they like, blonde, brunette, cultural backgrounds, but like we are so subjective on what is good looking. So what do we like in a man or a woman? It's like, oh, how do we choose that? And Craig says, but what's left then?
Exactly.
And I think everyone, for the most part, is very in the middle, like very average. Maybe we lean a little to the left, a little to the right. But I think it's, it's like that chart, oh God, I'm trying to think the math chart. Statistics, you have your deviations, your standard deviations. Most people are in the middle. And then we got like a couple outliers at the side that are very major red pill, major blue pill. That's fine. That's just called life. And so when people listen to things like the red pill stuff, like when I first listened to Pearl, I was like, heck yeah. And then it got very repetitive after a while. Like very repetitive. And it's like she kept on trashing women, and it's like I don't think that's okay. And then when Brittany Venti's video came out, and then she was saying all this stuff, and I was like, wow, that's what was going on in my mind, and you're just clarifying it. Shout out Brittany Venti.
Shout out. If you haven't seen Brittany Venti's video on Pearl, she's just ruthless. And I'm not saying Pearl is a bad person if she doesn't have points. And I'm not saying that, the guy's feelings aren't valid and a lot of the women's feelings aren't valid. We've been there. But there's got to be a middle ground somewhere. Because at this point, between men becoming women, women becoming men, although thank you for being more quiet about it, not having kids at all, taking out uteruses, celebrities calling for vasectomies, what is going to, why? Why? Calm down. Relax.
It'll be very interesting what will happen. And I mean, the internet world, it's not everyone on the planet watching it. So I know that is not the majority. If you think about how many views each video gets, it's not a lot, compared to the rest of the population. So
and it has good. I'm not saying he doesn't, but the man has got it. There's got to be a balance somewhere, guys. There's got to be a balance. This whole anti-man, we're not going to be in the kitchen, we're not going to raise kids, I can freeze my eggs, woe is whatever, that's not cool. And this far end, women suck, they're all terrible, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, I'm never getting married, blah, 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 is also terrible. There's got to be a middle somewhere.
And I think I do really, really like watching Rollo and Michael Sartain, because they do come from the idea of the red pill, but not so far. They still tell you, I watched the whatever podcast with them on it, and they still want to, if you have a woman, you're gonna respect them, love them, give them everything, support them. And I'm like, we don't hear that from a lot of people, and I think that makes you think oh, I'm just gonna be a rich guy and then have a lady on my arm, and then I'm gonna cheat on her. And that's okay. Because I feel like that's what I hear a lot.
I don't know. It just makes me tired.
Oh, she's not an escort, okay, guys?
Was that recently?
Yeah, it was on Sunday.
No, that's his girlfriend.
That's his girlfriend.
The dark-haired girl? Yeah, we've seen her.
Yeah, she's we both said she's so beautiful, and she seems so
cute.
nice.
I didn't know they were on the podcast. The link still up? Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, the link is still up. On a side note, the podcast from last night is not up. I'll tell you afterwards what happened, but
the whatever podcast?
Yeah, I'll show you what happened. But if you guys search whatever podcast on
I saw somebody's Twitter. Oh, here we go. Why would anyone listen to the advice? So listen, people have been listening to advice from celebrities since the beginning of time, pretty much. So it is what it is. Yes, they're all dum-dums, but they have influence for whatever reason. Pick a reason, and we can argue about that all day.
People want to become them, especially back in the day. And that's what brought on influencers. People who are like, I have a lot of followers, I look beautiful, I do a lot of things that people like, and then they influence people, and then sponsorships come, and then people literally sell things and influence people to buy things. It's the same thing as celebrities. So
well, and that's the thing too, is in a way, you're right. Why are you going to listen to these devices? But the influencers are doing it too. Again, your Tates, your Pearls, your Freshes, your Fits, your whatever. Although Brian doesn't really do advice, he more of just drops
He navigates
knowledge
the conversation.
and lets
He
the girls
navigates the
talk.
conversation amongst very Gen Z
Rollo
types.
Rollo wrote his book, The Rational Reality. Jordan Peterson, to a point. Not that I love Jordan Peterson. I'm just saying, like, these everywhere, all of these people on both sides, right? You got your lefties, who I can't even think of off the top of my head now, are all writing these books, do this, do that, how to be, the best feminist you can be. The original feminist novel by What's Her Bucket, whose name escapes me now. She wrote a whole thing on how to do it, and you don't need no man, and blah, blah, blah. And people take this advice, and I just think that on either side, it's just, oh, poopy.
Yeah.
Did we summon Maxie?
This is, I will just say this. Arms went up.
Oh, no. Oh, like a nice. Hi, Rachel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anywho.
Oh.
From what I heard, the reaction was very similar to what happened when a man stood up and peed.
There was a man that stood up and peed on a podcast?
Oh, God, girl, do you live in a rock?
I clearly don't watch this podcast enough. I usually just watch the clips.
Oh,
the FNT one. Okay, yes, got it. Okay, I got it now. I forgot all about the FNT thing. Yeah. Ew. Why would you? That is a whole nother rant. Good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Hello. His name was said, and he.
We didn't even say.
Well, we did say boobs. We did say boobs.
That is, yeah. Jordan Peterson is the GOAT. If you're gonna listen to any of these people, please, for the love of God, listen to Jordan Peterson. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny the way this movement has gone both ways. And it's like it might have started with truth, and then it was fueled by anger to a higher degree, where I don't know if they wanted to do that. And then the grift game was so real.
Yeah.
On a lot of
yeah, it's a hot topic right now. Like, I mean, look at us. It just, but we're not trying to listen, don't take full on life. We're just putting things in your head.
We're trying to investigate, and just like, I think this podcast especially really shows our progression throughout. Like, I'm sure if we go back, I think it was January that was like, found the red pill movement. I was excited about it. I loved it. And then it's just like, it's the same message over and over. And it's just, it's a little tiring, because everything does come with nuance. And unfortunately, they don't really look into that.
Well,
I'm just saying the fresh fits and pearls.
I've not seen one. And like I said, like, if you go, you have to dig for them, though. These guys support, I support marriage. I'm not saying that if you don't find a woman, a good woman that, that's going to treat you right and is going to be your ride or die, that you shouldn't get married, you shouldn't have kids, you shouldn't have a lot of kids, blah, 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 that's the other. But you have to really dig for those clips. If you type in any of these guys' names, all that comes up is women are trash, don't take anybody home, don't get married, because they're going to game the system. No matter how loyal she is to you, you're going to get a divorce. No matter, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, relax. Like,
yeah.
And on the female side, it's the same thing. It's just, and then on the feminist side, we all know that one. So
yeah,
it's exhausting.
And one of the things that I think about is, like, even though we talk about this, like, how do we enact change? Of course, talking about it will help, but I think a lot of the change has to come down to what you teach your kids, what they teach at school, and their entertainment. How do we control that? I don't know. That's a lot of things to control. And it comes down to even politics and
people
and
also,
the law.
All of us just need to stop sticking our bits in crazy. All of us.
I think control your parts. I get that you want to put it somewhere or have something put in there.
Listen, we women get it too. Okay, we're just as horny as you are, and I will say it out loud for everybody. You can clip it. Women are just as horny as men are. Okay, we need to chill. We all need to chill. Everybody needs to chill. There's a white pill.
El Presidente. I'm tired of all the red, blue, black, white pill stuff. I'm now firmly settled in my own get off my lawn movement. Vote for me to get people off your lawn. I should run for office with that. Elder Sedente, if you do, I hope you run with this name exactly, because I wouldn't know who you are otherwise.
Oh, that's funny.
But I also can't vote for you either. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're
Elder
American.
Sedente is channeling his inner Clint Eastwood. This one, Ian says it's sad they've actually developed an industry that's ruining men. Yeah, we had one that's ruining young women. Now I guess this is the flip side.
This is equality, guys. We just wanted equality. We have it.
Hi. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I meant to click. Where'd he go? This one. Hi, CJ. Humans don't have self-control.
That's why we're where we are today.
Because we've started to, and I don't care what your religion is, all right, in general. I'm Christian, so I'm going to say Christianity. Everybody at some point stopped, as a whole, stopped doing that, right? We don't raise our kids that way. We don't read the Bible. We've got girls on a podcast that say, oh, well, Jesus died for my sins, and therefore I can do corn on OnlyFans, and it's fine. Because in the Bible, it's totally fine to do corn. I don't know what Bible you're reading, but you should probably start over. You know what I mean? It's become so twisted, and so our morals are now gray, where they used to be more black and white. And listen, free will is free will and all that, but it just, we have gotten so far off of everything. Morality, I think gone exactly.
This is what we need now. We need the Bible to say literally, do not do OnlyFans with porn. Although I will say, the girl that does it with her husband, if they are happy doing that together in their marriage and sharing it to make money.
Listen,
good
there
luck.
are several instances in the Bible where prostitution and prostitutes get the book thrown at them. Okay. Mary Magdalene was one, and Jesus was like, you're doing bad things. Come over here. Okay. And OnlyFans is prostitution. I'm sorry, but it is. When you're doing sexual acts for money, you're prostituting yourself. I don't know why this is hard for people. And you are also a sex worker. Hot take. Cancel me for that one. I don't care.
Well, no, she admitted. She's like, I'm a sex worker.
Yeah.
I'll give props to her.
You are a prostitute and a sex worker. And I don't know. I don't know why people are so upset about it, because that's what you're doing.
I think that a lot of people are very sensitive about the truth, and they don't want to have titles. People don't even want to have, we're dating. They say situationships. We're seeing each other casually. We're just friends hanging out. Titles are very scary for people, okay? Oh my God, you're my boyfriend or girlfriend? Yeah. This is moving way too fast.
Well, and that comes from having so many more options now. And we women started it. Like, we let the guys that do that, not all of them, obviously, but the guys that treat you like that way, we let them treat us that way. And that's, over time, it's just like training dogs. Eventually, the dog's going to learn how to pull the refrigerator open and get you a beer. Like,
And I mean, you know, being more free and open, I don't think has been healthy mentally, even though we think it's healthy mentally. But actually, has it been? I don't know. Ask a lot of ladies in their 30s after they've had many partners. Were they actually happy doing that in the end? TBD, right? Maybe they should do a study. Ian says, hey, if you can't pick a gender, why would you settle on anything else? Wow.
Well, valid.
That's true. I do want to ask, okay, so sorry, I'm skipping some super chats and some other member messages, but I
promise.
I do want to address this. Shield Ball member for 7 months says, question, do women get post-nut clarity? No, I wouldn't say post-nut. I'd say post-nut clarity. After the oxytocin, after that happiness hormone goes away and you're going home, and he might have booted you out of bed and said, I'm gonna go to work. I don't want to leave you here. Can you get out? Or something like that. Or like, especially when you're texting the next day and they're not replying.
Oof.
Ooh, ouch. So I'd say it's not until after that's like, you know, show me you care in things like texting, communication.
We get, I don't know if I would call it post-nut clarity, but I know a lot of girls, a lot of women generally as like a generalization, we get a huge release of dopamine, and so like we're up and we're happy and we walk around and we get like this burst of energy craziness, unless it's something that's I'm just not going to go there. But in general, as a chemical response, we get a lot of dopamine, and that makes us like super up and about and ready to go and blah blah blah, and you guys pass out.
Yeah. Now,
or the opposite.
If the girl didn't get her nut, it's pretty much right there. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. Depends.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just maybe my own experience. So
welcome, Michael.
Hi, Michael. We're talking about nuts. Awkward. We do have a couple super chats. You wanna let's pull them out. Can I get you to read this one? I'm gonna drink.
Ian, for 50 pounds. What a golden era to be a young man. I'm sorry, that was terrible. Full of quality advice from unhinged lunatics. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think it's funny. So I've watched a lot of Pearl, especially in January, and she says that she is not an advice channel. She's an entertainment channel.
Well, she's not wrong.
Well, it is still advice inadvertently. It might not be the primary, but it is still advice.
There we go.
So it's very easy. Thank you, Ian, so much for the 50 British pounds. I can't wait. I hope I get to meet you in the UK, by the way. I hope I get to meet you.
And give him a hug for me.
Yeah.
Hokey is before it goes away. Gifted 5 Poor Choices memberships. Thank you, Hokey.
Thank you, Hokies. We also have John Thomas. I'm going to burp again. Can you read it?
John Thomas for $5. I'm a reformed man hoe. Seriously, sleeping with the amount of women I did harmed my soul.
Ooh, oh my gosh, John, can you if you don't mind specifying, you don't have to super chat it either, but like I would like to know maybe the primary reason it harmed your soul. I would like to just a curious question.
Yeah, hearing from the guys, if you're still here, John.
Because I think that we hear a lot of women talk about how sleeping with a lot of women or men has been harmful in the long term, and especially with a lot of the Red Pill podcasts has elucidated that. But they don't talk about men. They just say like men like women like men that have had lots of sex. And you're like, not always.
John Kakoza says ditto. Is that ditto to the super chat, John?
I think so.
We'd like to know from you as well if you're comfortable with it.
And
that's the interesting thing with John Kakoza saying that, if that's correlated, because the man photographs some
the emptiness.
Ladies, I'll tell you.
So John and John, the Johns. Now, okay, this is very similar to women. Now, is it because your primary goal is to actually be with someone and hopefully have some sort of pair bonded experience where you're with someone for long term to life? I feel like that might be something pretty important, because I think a lot of women, like, even though we want to have our sexual freedom, a lot of our goals is to be married, children, all of that. So
yeah. So we have this one. Sleeping with 10 women also fries men's hormone receptors and makes it difficult to pair bond, same as women. Manosphere idiots tell men that it doesn't. Oh.
Interesting. John and John, please let us know if that's how you feel.
Omega Man says, I also have a friend who said felt his soul drained when he was a man hoe.
Interesting. I think it takes a lot of effort to, well, maybe especially with men, because it is harder to maybe land a woman. But maybe that effort with nothing to show from it besides a quick, acute sense of happiness does lead to emptiness, because you don't have the long-term happiness. But that's just I'm just saying what women have told me.
Yeah.
And maybe myself. You'll never know.
You'll never know.
Phil says, I can say that women like men who have had a lot of sex is wrong. I'm a dude who banged. Oh, wow. Okay. Back in the day. And yet I have yet to have a girl who digs me because of that.
No, it's true. That is the one thing of the first time I ever heard that, I don't remember which podcast it was. I was like, that is not true. I mean, maybe some experience, but no.
I think
You.
you're conflating experience with like world and like life experience with sexual experience.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm just this is just a guess. This is just a guess.
I'm like, no, I don't think so.
We have heard from one of the John. Primary goal for 2 decades was conquest. Didn't necessarily hurt my soul, but definitely missed out on a couple of the good ones that would have been good for the. So, do you feel like a sense of maybe regret?
Regrets?
Then
Do you have regrets?
regrets? Like,
Regrets?
should you have? Do you think you should have explored maybe what the good ones maybe should have been? I don't know. I'm very curious because we don't get to do this often, where we get to talk to males who are this open about this.
Yeah, this is
I
crazy.
talked to a lot of men in my younger years, especially through university, when they wanted to have the acute happiness and bang a lot of women. So,
I just need to be inappropriate for a second. We have 69 people watching.
ayo,
While we're talking about
ayo.
Kudos.
Oh my gosh.
Oof.
And
this is a big one.
ouch. When women find out her 3 ex-wives, I get instant friend zoned. I think a lot of the hard parts is when you hear, and this is how I say, I conflate a lot of women and men who have had a lot of sex being not picky enough. And it just means that, are you being choosy about, or am I just like your next one? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe about the ex-wives. I'm not sure. I haven't dated anyone who's married before. Jeff says, we male humans are stupid creatures and we don't realize we found a good one most of the time until we use our 20/20 hindsight. Yeah, you kind of have to feel that regret and loss in order to feel like you knew what you lost. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, are we just going to pick
Max says, great combo, guys. Do y'all think women find men attractive that are saving themselves for marriage? So I don't think it's the worst thing. Like, I don't think it's a red flag. I think that there's a lot to commend a man or a woman that does this. Now, will there be, especially if you have had sex before, there's going to be a little awkwardness.
Yeah.
Your first time. But guess what? You can teach them and mold them to be your perfect sex match. Just saying. I think there's something good about that.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say there is probably it probably easier having the female being a virgin than the male being the virgin.
Well, I don't even know if not even just virginity, but like there's cases where it's like I follow Brittany Dawn on Instagram, and she was not a virgin, but when she kind of redeveloped her relationship with religion and with God and stuff, she was like, I'm waiting for marriage with my husband, with the man that I'm meant to be with. I want to wait until marriage. Like, she just kind of made that rule for herself, and she found a man that felt the same way. So I think if you're in that circle, whatever that circle is, and you find somebody that has that same belief, whether they're a virgin or not, they're like, no, you know what? I messed up and I don't want to use that I don't want to use my body as a way to keep this relationship or to ensure this test is like on Bachelor. Oh, we need to know what it's like if we have compatibility in the bedroom. If you're truly attracted to that person, you're going to have compatibility. You may have to work on it at first, but you're going to be fine. So I think if you find a girl or guy that feels that same way, then yeah, absolutely, they're going to find you attractive. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, this is interesting. Born again virgins are just a cope. Sorry, I got a burp.
I don't know who called it a born again virgin thing, but I don't think there's anything wrong with coming out of that lifestyle and being like, you know what? I'm not going to use my body. I'm not going to have the mindset anymore of that, like, well, sex will keep the relationship. You know what I mean? And I'm going to save that for last. And some people wait until marriage. I know a couple of girls that didn't make it till marriage, but they waited until they were engaged to the guy, or they had moved in after so many years. You know what I mean? They'd waited They didn't do
Yeah.
right away. I also know women that did the opposite direction and they married that person, and it, when you know kind of thing. So it just depends. But if that's your goal, that is what you want for yourself, that's your conviction, that's your boundary, then that is something that you need to definitely stick to. And
Yeah.
tell the
And
person.
that's hard to stick to, especially if you know what that cake is like. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said if this person, whoever they may be, is a born again virgin. You have to kind of respect that they can hold that conviction and hold out for something that is better. The waiting game can make the sexual experience that much better,
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
my opinion. So,
Here's one. I've had multiple women who were head over heels for me lose interest in an instant when they found that I was a virgin. Let me ask you, go back and think about all those girls. What kind of girls were they? I bet you anything they were a little bit promiscuous, and that would make sense.
and if anything, that just helps weed out the kind of girls you
Yeah,
probably don't
exactly.
want. I
Most
mean,
women, I will say, Omega's right. Most women who have had the experience and are I guess promiscuous is the best word, or are more promiscuous, are not going to really, unless they see it as a challenge, they're not going to really want to date a virgin, because they're going to be like, I'm going to have to teach him. I don't want to do that. I'm not his mom or whatever, right? They're going to have that mentality. But if you find somebody that is in that realm with you, you're not going to have to worry about it.
yeah. And John did put here about the
Oh,
good
yeah.
ones. Hindsight probably should explore some of the potential relationships with those good ones. Not necessarily regret it though. Just a different path. Would not be currently where I am today. And I'm so glad I got to meet you. Who knows if you would even be in our circle here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy you're here, but like,
Mhm.
I'm being selfish saying that. So, oh gosh. Shieldwall does say if you date long term, I think sex is okay, especially if you're not into the pump it and dump it. 35-year-old with 3 partners in her life is
Yeah.
perfectly fine. A 35-year-old, would you guys say a 35-year-old with 20 partners in their life is fine? I don't know. I find it interesting when men are like, "Bleh, that's
That
disgusting."
answer definitely changes, like, and the age changes too, like, it's interesting, which, and I'm not judging it, I get it too, like, if Duke had, 30, 40 bodies, I'd be like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Omega says, yeah, but unfortunately, the damage is done when a man finds out that his woman's past. It will forever do damage to a man's perception of them as ingrained in a lizard brain. Yeah, and I was listening to the podcasts or some podcasts, and I was thinking about when someone has such a high body count, like it just that immediate disgust. I'm like, why do we think that? What makes us feel that way? Oh yeah, so she might get pregnant by so many people. Like, chat, I would like to know, why do you find your partner, if you're dating someone, if they have too high of a body count, what does that say to you? Because
Mm.
you've heard things like, she's a hoe,
Daddy
she's a
issues.
whore, daddy issues. I don't know. I'm curious what the chat's gonna say. Because you know what's been in there. I will say there is a biological risk of STDs, and I definitely agree with that. There's an
Yeah.
increased risk of HPV and STDs. Jeff, you took the words out of my mouth. Ooh, no self-control, no respect for themselves or others.
Oh, that's interesting.
Lack of self-respect. Previous partners are seen as a list of mistakes to someone who is looking for a lifetime partner.
I mean, that's a very
That's very valid.
that's a very good point too, because, and I think I've heard the people we were talking about earlier, all the podcasters earlier, you've had this many people and not one of them wanted to keep you around forever. Like, what does that say about you?
That is true as well.
Especially as a woman, because we are held to a different standard, and we should be, in a way. We're held to a different standard as far as like biologically goes. We're supposed to be mothers, and we're supposed to be raising the next generation to be good moral people, and blah 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 blah. Well, what does that say about you? What's wrong with you? Well, much like when earlier the example was you've had 3 wives and now one of them's stuck. What's going on there? You know what I mean? Like, it's that same mentality, that same thing. So I think that's, if I were to describe it to a young girl, I'd be like, okay, well, when you hear a man having like 4 or 5 ex-wives and you go, ew, that's the same thing as a body, like the same in our minds, the same thing as a body count. Like, oh, ew, what's wrong with you? You had all these men, but not one of them wanted to wife you up. That's kind of weird. Isn't that weird? It's a little weird. You had all these
Yeah.
wives, and not one of them wanted to stay with you until the day death was part. No, kind of weird. Kind of weird. You know what I mean? Whether it was your fault or not is irrelevant. You know, it's the number. So
Yeah, yeah. And then CJ asks, why does it matter that your guy makes more than you or is taller than you? At least on the taller side, we can say biologically, we do want someone who's taller, will protect us and whatnot. So whether it be the height, the chest size, the arms, the speed, the fighting strength, that is definitely
thing.
biological. Evolutionarily, that's what we want. Now, we don't have to rely on that specifically. Because are we fighting people? Not necessarily. Like when we're on the whatever our Access Vegas, 6% of the US has worked or no, previously worked as a army member. That's not a lot.
Yeah, that number shocked me. I was like,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So now we equate power status with money, which is why we talk about high value males. A lot of people equate it to money. So
Yeah, it's
we want protection, lifestyle, stuff like that. So that's why a lot of women say, I want my man to make more than me, at least equal. Even though we don't say it. A lot of women say, I don't care how much he makes.
Yeah.
I just care about equality, at least in terms of like my money making. I care that you work hard. I don't want to date someone who doesn't work hard. That's it. So, and I was being as honest as I can on that podcast, and I think you were too.
I don't.
We were putting like
words I could get
300,000, 5 million, 10 million.
It's interesting too, because it is like a biological thing that I think we
be taken care of, especially when we are pregnant.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do when we pop that baby out and we can't work right away?
Yeah.
So I think that's why we look for people who have money, because we don't have to worry about fighting.
Well, money is now money in my opinion. Yeah, money in my opinion is the modern, because time has changed, all that stuff. The modern being able to take down the saber-toothed tiger or being able to take over a whole tribe. You know what I mean? Like, we're obviously not really doing that anymore. For the most part, right? So instead, now money has become that
yeah, well, Eric, I mean, the money does not equal commitment, but also the body didn't equal commitment either. I'm sure people wanted to.
Oh, also true.
You know, so like, think about kings, and like they were like literally the top G, maybe not the personality of Andrew Tate's, but like the top G of their people. They literally had concubines, so many women to F, and you just had to take it at the time. Now we have more say, I think, as females. We've had more power than we have ever had before. So, it's very interesting to see how like social dynamics of females and males have changed so much. What does it say?
I'm not laughing because of his response is great. It's the name caught me. I was like, what?
Monkey butt toenail. Ew. That sounds so gross. To become one, something is exchanged when folks do the dirty. The thought of another man's junk inside my woman makes me not want to perform chow time. Cheers. I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. And I hope you find what you want. I just wouldn't use those certain words, but chow time. I've never heard it called that. Oh gosh. Smoky Patriot says the problem with the money argument is that you're looking for provision or lifestyle because you can be provided on 50 to 60K, but you can have a true lifestyle on 100K. That's the other thing that I think that women aren't conceding more on. It's like, when we think about this dollar value, what does that dollar value mean to you? What is it bringing to you? Like, how are we quantifying, I want $5 million per year?
Yeah.
Like, I think about
a lifestyle, because they think that, and this is a governmental thing, a capitalism thing, I don't know, but we got looks. The looks the three of us got, the girl next to you, what was her name? Norma?
Norma.
You and I got, and we were like, oh yeah, like 40K would be fine.
And I was trying
What
to
that
do
looks
like
like.
the Canadian to US. I was like, was it 70 CAD to USD? It was like 50K US
Yeah.
dollars. I was like,
Yeah.
but guess what? We live in the country. We like
It's
don't
just
have that
funny.
much money to like
Yeah.
survive. Like,
No.
and that's the thing. Like people think like I need to have my nails done, my hair did. But guess what? When you have a kid, if you want to be that traditional wife, do you need that?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. But I mean that's just my
You
opinion. You
don't
have
have to
to
go
live
get your
with your
hair
means.
dyed. You can just curl it like this. My hair's done. Ta-da!
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't need to spend $60.
And like I don't need to buy all those trendy clothes. Guess how much money I wasted on clothes wearing them once, twice, not
Oh
even.
yeah.
And it's like, is it worth it? Did it make me happy wearing it once? Not really.
Sometimes.
Very rarely. It's fleeting. Think about you have to think about acute happiness and long-term happiness.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make me happy that night. I look hot, I look sexy, I take pictures, whatever. And that's it. That's all that outfit brought me. Was it worth it?
Mm.
Well, not for me at least. If I buy things, I buy expensive classic items. But that's just me. Does it bring you joy? I feel like that girl from Netflix now.
Yeah.
The Japanese girl. I forgot her name. Oh my god.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
Yeah. Marie Kondo. Does this item
Oh
bring you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
happiness?
Oh yeah.
Purge it.
Does this bring you joy? Oh my gosh, this whole moving thing.
Yeah.
You guys want to purge your
You're gonna
stuff?
purge a
Become
lot of
moving.
stuff. I have a
Can't
feeling.
wait. Can't wait to sell. I sold
Will the
some of it.
TV?
Yeah.
Will the TV survive the move?
Oh, the TV. No, Duke is already. He's like, no, we're keeping the TV. I like that thing.
Oh, dang!
He was like,
Okay.
I want our kids to play video games and watch VHS tips or tapes like we did. I'm like, okay.
I love it. I love it.
We need a
I love it.
VCR. So yeah, he's already claimed the TV. I tried. I was like, okay, you get to pick it up then because it's heavy. The whole six figures demand is based on delusion. Yeah, and not knowing how money works. Exactly. Like that video I sent you of all those girls wanting the engagement rings to be like 50 grand.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. And it's like, you know, that could be a down payment for a house, right?
Yeah, there's no concept of money anymore, and especially to women. And I feel like that's on purpose.
Well, and it was like, you know, the whole engagement ring was like, it should be a man's 3-month salary. That was a marketing ploy in order to get women to want men to buy this. And you think about it, like most, like just say that, how much did the average male make in a year? Like 40K?
The average? I think our average. What did Michael say? I think he said the average was 60 now, which I don't know if that accounts for inflation or not.
I think okay. Let's just say it's 40,000.
Listen, Hokies, let me tell you what. Depending on the way you have them and where you have them at, I still have Disney VHS tapes from the 90s that work.
Yeah, that's 10K on a 40K salary. That's a lot of money.
Oh,
like,
the engagement ring? Yeah.
You still have to pay for rent, for food, for dates, for entertainment. Like, how do you say that? You're going to take a whole year to save up that much. Yeah. And you still have to save. Like, realistically, you should be saving. So
I don't know who needs to hear this, but go to Zales.com and search for engagement rings under $100. I promise you, you're going to be pleasantly surprised as to the amount of adorableness and how beautiful they are.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's just so interesting. This world, people are so delusional.
Oh, it's 50. It's 50K. Okay.
50K. Even 50K. Then, that's like what? 12K then? 12K?
Yeah.
13K.
Yeah.
13K. That's a lot of money.
It's just wild to me. I'm like, 50K? Oh my God, no. I don't even want to spend that on the wedding. Jeez.
Yeah. I told Mark, I was like, I love the ring you bought me, but I actually would have just been very happy with like a family heirloom. Spend no money on it.
I've been shooting Duke. Like, look at these rings I found for under $100. Look at this wedding dress I found for under $200. Like, what's her bucket? The gymnast. God, what is her name? Simone Biles just got married. Her shoes were $35 and her wedding dress cost like $110.
Oh my God. My I don't
Atta
want to
girl.
I don't want to you know how like they say Jewish people and like Chinese people are probably one of the cheapest.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple of Jewish friends. I love them to death, but I was like, I have shoes. They're beautiful shoes. I bought them when a store was closing. These beautiful Mishka Badgley shoes for $30.
See,
And
that's what I'm doing.
so
I have
I
white
gave them to her.
cowboy boots that I got on Amazon for $35 that I am planning on. If somebody ever asks me, I'm planning on
I
wearing, I'm gonna bedazzle them. I'm gonna bedazzle them with shiny things, and those are gonna be my shoes. That's what I'm wearing.
Yeah. I guess
You know?
back in the day, you know, it wasn't a problem because the average wage was your convenience. Now it's harder to live, especially when you live in the cities. For sure.
Yeah.
And remember back in the day, it was a dowry, but that was your entire family.
Well,
It wasn't
and
just
two,
you.
the family heirloom thing. There's so many. I would say probably about my age and younger, probably maybe a little younger than we are. There's this new thing. People don't want family heirlooms. They don't want that. Oh, that's old and yucky. Oh, that's old. I don't want that.
Oh, they
You know
don't
what I mean?
respect elders or
Yeah, there's no
tradition.
family heirlooms anymore for the most part. Like, especially in the modern, like you have to find like a really good, solid family that is happy with each other. It almost feels like in order to get those family heirlooms. Like, I have my mom and dad's wedding bands. I will not be wearing them because they're divorced and that's bad juju, but I have them. Jeez,
Yeah.
it's wild to me. These, I don't know. What do I know? Tradition.
I would love. Okay, so I know my mom. My dad got her push presents. It's usually a ring. I would have loved to use my push present as an engagement ring as well. That would have been really sweet. But this is just me. I'm like, I love the family stuff. So
It cracks me up.
yeah.
I need at least 3 cows and 2 goats.
Yeah, because the dowry was paid by the
The
female's
Yeah.
wife, or not wife, sorry, father or parents or whatever. So it was like kind of the other way around. Instead of the man getting a present, he was like, take our daughter and take this gift as well.
Please take the cows.
For taking our daughter.
This too, right? Most people have nothing left of money living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, all you have to do is
That's
look at what
awesome.
happens to like football players when they retire. 90% of them are broke.
Yeah, because they're not living.
No savings accounts. They live outside their means.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're living within their means when they're getting that paycheck, and then when that paycheck stops.
But they don't think about the future injuries. Henry Ruggs, for instance, who was an idiot and drunk drove and killed somebody. Yeah, he had that paycheck, but now he's got nothing, including a career because you were an idiot, because you make stupid decisions, because you're rich and you think you can get away with it. You know what I mean? So like all of these things go through, and then all of a sudden you lose it all one day. If you got hit by a car, if you do that. Anyway.
Yep. Because you never know what's going to happen. And Mark will tell you, I plan for plan A, plan B, plan C. You can tell like the amount of insurance that I have on myself, at least, it's like ridiculous.
So now we know if you ever go missing, Mark did it. That's the insurance.
Yeah. I mean, like, guys, regardless of what you do, especially if you do a job that is functional on your body, please get critical insurance and disability insurance. I'm just saying. Hokie says it's like a sports trade. We give you our daughter and these goats. You give us grandchildren. Remember when children were helpful in your family life? Now they're just like little money suckers.
Yeah.
Yep. D-Day says best way to make things fair between sexes is to make the laws fair. If relationships fall apart, then people can just go their separate ways without destroying the other financially. I do think that you should have conversations prior to getting married, to moving in, on things like this. And if you can have a rational conversation, especially when you're in a happy place about this, that is another litmus test on the type of person you are dating. So this is just further vetting. So I don't know. It's just, I hate that divorces happen. And I think in short-term divorces in relationships, the whole 50-50 thing definitely shouldn't happen. I think the 50-50 thing makes more sense after your kids have grown up. You've built a life together. You've got houses or house, or you have built all this wealth that's incumbent on each other to have been that.
Yep.
That's the only way it makes sense to me that
And
those
it's
laws
become
apply.
Hi, why? Hi. Do you need attention? Come here. Yeah, and Frog Finance is right. Like divorces become so normalized. Everything's become so normalized. You know, when people got married, even our parents, well, not my parents, but a lot your parents and above, they made this commitment. They get together, that age range, you know, that was really the last of it. You know, they would stay together and work through everything they could. If a divorce did happen, it wasn't until the kids were later or older, and it was very rare. It was very rare. And now it's just like, oh, well, it's broken. I'll just buy a new one. And that goes for a relationship too. If it's broken, I'll just go get a new guy or I'll go get a new girl. It's so sad.
It is very sad.
Listen, lady.
Eric here says, I gave more value to my parents than they paid to support my youth, for sure. Are you sure about that? Because it's not just the payment of taking care of you. It's like, you know, like physically taking care of you, teaching you, applying all that. I don't know. I think you can't quantify the care with just the payment amount. So, I mean, I don't know everything about your situation either, but I look at my parents and how they gave me things not in monetary value, but in like discipline, teaching, life skills. So I don't know. Hopefully they did other stuff, but if they didn't, then maybe you have more strong ground in that. We got Kara in the chat, says hello there. Hi, Kara. Hello. But yeah, it's been very interesting. This has gone super off the rails, by the way. We're gonna talk about vasectomies. We got with one tweet, and then an hour later,
I know we didn't even get to Chelsea Handler's
we didn't even get to Chelsea Handler. Now, I wonder, should we actually watch the video
of Chelsea Handler?
I mean, it's okay because her boobs don't show.
I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Right. We're gonna go backwards now. It's been an hour. We're gonna go back.
Yeah. We're back. We're back on.
Listen, we had to see this, and now you all have to see this.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
You're welcome. Yeah, put the food down.
Yeah, you can close your eyes. You can close your eyes though if you don't want to see her.
This video is just so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. It's me, Chesty Handlerberg. You caught me giving myself a mammogram. All good, you too. As a woman with natural breasts, not that that has anything to do with this, it is time to explore vasectomies. Since the beginning of time, women have been ducking and diving and dodging pregnancy face first or Pikachu first. And frankly, they're exhausted. We've had to listen to men say things like,
oh, but using a condom doesn't feel so good, or can't you just take birth control, or just forgot to pull out.
Enough, you horny little pigs in blankets. Do you know how painful it is to get an IUD placed? It feels like a mousetrap in your uterus. And sometimes those things don't even catch all the mice. And birth control? You think I want to be an adult woman with acne? Or have mood swings? Or get a period so heavy it feels like the Hoover Dam just broke? I don't. Everybody already hates women enough. I don't need my insides to join in on the fun. Women are tired of making concessions for men, especially in the bedroom. We have already been through enough letting you wear socks while you penetrate us. So man up, men. And if you can't do that, enjoy the company of your hand. Vasectomies. One snip and that's it.
Oh my God.
She called herself Chesty Handlerberg.
Like where I would listen, you're gonna make a video about vasectomies. I have like how does a mammogram, like a self mammogram, what does it have to do with anything?
She just wants to be topless in a video.
I don't understand.
Sorry, it's a little bit
what does that have to do with vasectomies? I don't
she just wants to show off her boobies in the video and hold her like the poor person videotaping her. Let's start with that. Ew.
Oh my God.
But it's very interesting how she says women have been through enough. What does that mean? Women have been through enough. I think you have to quantify this. She's very desperate for attention, John.
And she's hit the wall hard. She's in her mid-40s, so I'm guessing menopause is about around the corner.
But I think that, like, yeah, sure, there's like, I forgot what Pearl said, but there's like 20-something birth control that women can use to prevent that, but also abstinence. I'm just saying, why are we putting it on the men as well about that?
Like, maybe just stop sleeping around and stop sleeping with men who don't do what you want them to do, I guess. If the guy you're seeing won't take his socks off, and like that's your biggest pet peeve, he doesn't have the respect for you to take his socks off, like maybe you should not be sleeping with him. I don't know.
I think she's so delusional, and that she's so asking for the wrong type of attention. I'm gonna stand here and hold my boobs naked in the bed.
The boobs did look pretty good though, so kudos to her on those. They look great.
I mean, she's holding them. It's like her own hands are a bra at this point. Are they actually looking good? I've only seen maybe 2 pairs of breasts of 50-plus women, 50-year-old plus women that looked like they were in their 20s. And I do mammograms. That's not how you do mammograms. I never have ever put my hands one on each breast. That is inappropriate.
But do you wear socks?
But do you wear socks? Yes, I do. With shoes, with full clothes. As I'm squishing her breasts, yes. It's a very intimate process.
Hi, Brother Redlock. I love your subs, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, that it's so annoying having someone like this who is an influencer, a celebrity, say things like this. What is this? Sheila says, it's basically a PSA saying men have to take responsibility for birth control. What she doesn't address is that all the stuff she listed for women is reversible. It is not the same for a man. I will say that there are some stuff that we don't know 100% yet. I think a lot of the hormones that we've taken have had adverse effects, not only for us, but the population. Think about the amount of estrogen we've peed out.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that she's saying this. I don't think it's the right way to say this. Oh, sorry. But yeah, the IUDs, I might have gotten an IUD one day and literally fainted from it. So
yeah, first of all, you will. Oops, my bad. You will put one of those in over my cold dead body. Absolutely not. Like the pill was bad enough. Okay, no. I'm done with those hormones. Thank you so much. No, thank you.
Yeah, I wish that hormones wasn't offered so easily to young girls. Like I got birth control for acne when I was younger without my parents.
Yeah, it's a Planned Parenthood. So easy.
I didn't need my parents to get it.
Nope.
At the age of 16 because I heard, oh, this is great for acne from my friends. What did I do? I'm not even asking my parents because they're gonna be like, oh my God, you're having sex. No, I just want my face cleared up.
I was on the pill since I was 13. So I've been off it for a year. So yay, Michael!
Yeah, it's so interesting to feel like your body is doing its actual natural function when I got off the birth control.
Yeah, it's wild.
Absolutely freaking wild.
This is going to be too much information. I won't go into detail, but they're completely different now. I don't get uncomfortable. I don't get the nasty mood swings I used to get. Like I'm pretty leveled out. They don't last a week. They're not supposed to. Fun fact, ladies, your periods are not supposed to last a week. Okay? Just throwing it out there.
BB, is X-ray implying that peed estrogen from women in the water supply is making more fun? It might be an inadvertent cause, but there's also more soy and vegetarianism and veganism
for sure.
So I think there's a lot of stuff that happens, but yes, you take in a small amount in the body and use it, but guess what? The rest is water soluble and it goes out in your pee. And then it goes into the water supply. And guess what? A lot of women are on birth control.
Thank you.
So, yes. We are a more feminine society. Oh, this is interesting. Omega Man. I wonder which study, and if you can quote which study it is, that'd be great, because I tend to not believe until I see the study. Women on
I've
birth
seen this
control
too.
are attracted to men with lower testosterone.
I've seen this too, and if you look around at but not especially the younger generation, but even our age, they're still on the pill and still taking hormones and are drinking soy milk and are all that estrogen they're getting. Look who the women are drooling over. BTS, all those Korean boys, they look super effeminate. Timothy Chalamet, what's his bucket? Harry Styles that's wearing dresses now. Women literally, Pedro Pascal, who may play a masculine character, but in real life, he is one of the most effeminate Latino men I've ever seen in my life. It's weird. He wore freaking shorts and dress to the Met Gala the other day. You know what I mean? But all these women are falling all over themselves for it. They love them. Freaking Robert Pattinson. Now he's grown up, but back in the day, as Edward, he looked like a freaking girl. Like, it's true. I totally believe that study. If you look around, you can see it.
Admiral says, I took waste treatment in undergrad, and water treatment does not filter drugs out of water. Tap water equals all legal and illegal drugs. And we're just going to say water soluble drugs and illegal drugs, because if it's fat soluble, it gets stored in your fat cells. But that's just something I learned in nutritional science. So
I have had, so my sister's best friend growing up, her mother was super fit. Worked out every day. Like, she looked really good. 3 or 4 kids. She had breast cancer, got diagnosed with breast cancer one day.
How old?
And she was in her 40s, so older.
That's young still.
And she had zero history of breast cancer in her family. It's not like me, like I have a history of it in my family, so I need to keep an eye out, kind of thing. She had zero history, no breast cancer in her family at all on either side, anything like that. So the doctors were like, well, this is really weird. And they caught it and it was fine. Like, she was okay, but they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And she finally was talking to a doctor that is not so reliant on prescription. He'll be like, well, change your diet, whatever. And she was talking to him about it for something else. And he goes, what are you eating? Like, what is your diet like? And she talked about how she switched from real milk to soy milk just 3 years prior. And he was like, get off that shit immediately. You're a woman. You are going through high hormonal surges anyway, because you're in your 40s and menopause is going to come. So your body's changing and you're pumping your body full of the triple amount of estrogen that your body needs. No wonder you got breast cancer. She basically gave herself breast cancer because of all the soy products she was ingesting with all the estrogen.
Yeah.
I was
it's
like,
very interesting because back in the day, when you go to Starbucks, I freaking love Starbucks when I was younger. Your only option for milk products that had no lactose was soy milk.
Yeah.
And now, of course, they do have a variety of other milks as well. So I've been drinking more almond milk, and thank God, because it was the only alternative at the time. And for how long? Who knows how long? I did it from age 19 to, let's say, 24. 5 years drinking soy milk, soy lattes.
Well, here's your reference. Modern Wisdom podcast number 555 with Sarah Hill, Dr. Sarah Hill.
Oh, dang. Okay. I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, but metrosexuals weren't effeminate, though. At least the ones that I thought were metrosexuals. Metrosexuals just, like, they dress nice. So they would show up in a suit, or they would go to the grocery store in a blazer, that kind of thing. Like, they put effort into their appearance, maybe a little bit more than a normal guy would, but they weren't acting. They didn't wear dresses. They weren't acting effeminate. They weren't walking around.
Like they looked like this on the, like, kind of like this, like just
like
stylish.
Tom Hiddleston back in the day would probably, the way he constantly dresses nice all the time, no matter what he's doing, that would be a metrosexual, at least in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's the later version of a metrosexual. But hi, Steph.
Hello.
But yeah, they weren't effeminate. So yeah, you had I miss metrosexuals. Bring them back. But they would dress, they could whoop your butt in a bar fight, but they did it in a tuxedo kind of thing. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, these guys are just effeminate, and I
think, like,
can't. No, I don't find Harry Styles
Beckham.
attractive. I don't know who commented that, but no.
David Beckham, like that
David Beckham.
metrosexual.
David
I
Beckham's
like.
metrosexual. That's a good example. Yep, David Beckham. Hugo Boss.
Yup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a great example. David
Yeah.
Beckham.
He's
Like we can all agree he's pretty manly, that one. I mean, he's British, so he's only so manly, but
yeah. So we do have a new member. Thank you, Deranged Lunatic, aka DL, for becoming a member of the Lush level. We love our lushes, especially because we are lushes ourselves, as you saw. I was the only one that drank tonight. I'm surprised.
I know.
Ian, so forth for 10 British pounds, says, I never cared. Honestly, I lean conservative, but I've never cared about body count. It's impossible to judge an individual's journey with stats. And I do think that, like, although we do say judge people based on things that they have done, but we can also say that we can learn from it. And I think that that's something that Ian does bring into the conversation. I have done things that I'm sure that I would be sad to say I've done. And guess what? I learned.
I feel like
And then
200 people would be a lot.
Well, no, I didn't make 200 mistakes or anything like that. But like,
200,
you know,
Ian, 200.
And is 200 too much?
Too much? What is too?
No, I'm thinking more like I remember when I dated 2 people at once. I felt so horrible. Like I didn't do anything physically in that sense, but like I got them mixed up. And then I remember, and I told you something like this, where I was just like, you know, there's something to say about, you know, when you date 2 people and then you say, your sister, they're like, I don't have a sister. And you're like, oh, how do I come back from this? I can't.
Reese Witherspoon over here with Tom Hardy and Chris Pine.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's up to you if body count matters, BB. Everyone has their preferences that they want, including this. This shows you how the super chat was from a while ago. 200 might be too much.
Sorry, we're catching up.
Sorry. But like, yeah, you know, like your past does say things about your character, but then you can learn from that and become a new character. And we'll never do that again, date 2 people at once, because that was a whole mess.
I hope not. That might be awkward for Mark.
It wasn't, well, it wasn't during Mark. This was like in my early 20s. And it was a little awkward. And I'm like, this will never happen again. I can't keep things straight. So there's no, you know, so I'm glad it wasn't like a mistake where it's like, oh no, I'm trying to think something catastrophic. Some love triangle where they're like cousins or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm the same, Kara. I've never asked body count. It doesn't matter to me. And I'd rather that way. It's fine. You know, your past is your past. I care about what you are in the present. So was that a yes or a no? What was the question again? Should body count matter? It doesn't matter to me. I think it depends on each person. If you want to care about that, go ahead and care.
I think it depends on the number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we also got Judge Lot for $10 says, X-Ray, sorry if you already went over this, but how did you get hooked up with Rollo in the first place? Seeing you on a show was like Marvel/DC crossover.
That was such a cool experience.
It was.
I hope Rollo doesn't think we're talking trash about him, because
no. I actually really like him. I think that he has a lot of interesting takes. I think that knowing that he has been a bit more kind of the controversial on purpose person on Twitter makes me because I think if he actually felt that, like, without the quickest path to that, you're like, oh. Yeah, then I would have been like, oh, I don't know about that, but I don't need to love everything about you in order to be friends with you, you know? But so if you saw last week, John Kokoza, he sent me a video from the podcast Access Vegas because he shot some photos for a girl that was on it, And I was like, that's Sticky Paws. That's in Vegas. I'm like, maybe I should email him and see if he's interested because we're coming to Vegas in a couple weeks. And that'd be nice to kind of go on a podcast and talk about dating. Like, of course,
Yeah.
this podcast in
I
itself.
had no idea he did a show here in Vegas, to be honest. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I hope I get to go back. I would like to go back.
Yes. So thank you, John, for elucidating the podcast to me. And I mean, that podcast was really interesting. The girl that he shot photos of.
Yes.
So after I emailed him, we exchanged messages back and forth. So we found the date and then we got on. And I think Rollo, he is a little bit of a nerd. He's a big Warhammer fan. He gave me a Warhammer figure and some bracelets, which was really nice.
He watches Nerdrotic. I think he watches Gary too.
Yeah. And then he plays D&D as well. He sent me a video of him playing, I think, 5th edition. So I think it's funny that the relationship sphere is mixing up with the red pill sphere. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
and Frog. Bye.
So it was kind of cool. And I'll reiterate what I said last week. It was a good podcast. I think I wanted to get into more deeper talks, kind of like how we do on this channel. And I don't think we were able to get that deep because of how many girls were on there. And then I did find the stats fun, but it kind of did take away from having a deeper conversation about things in general. And that's okay. I think we also are a bunch of different girls who don't know each other. So getting deep is really hard.
Yeah, especially when you have like so many people. There's just, and they have to overbook because so many girls, I guess, normally don't show up. In this case, they only had one girl not show up. So it was quite a bit of us. And Rosie, the girl next to me, stole the show with her cult story. And
I mean, there's
so
so many beautiful girls on that podcast. Like, I will say, with all the panel podcasts that are out there, I'd say the girls in Vegas are absolutely gorgeous. I'd say majority of the girls that have good heads on their shoulders have been on the Access Vegas podcast, even though they might be perceived 304s or whatever bad words you want to say about women. I think that Vegas girls, they're business women. They're very nice. They're very sweet and they're very kind from what I saw. So
sure, good heads on the show. If we would get him on the show. I mean, I don't if he would like to come on. Yeah. We don't really have all the statistics and stuff that they do, though.
Yeah. It would be very interesting. I would want to structure the show on something that curtails him. We do have a couple guests that are coming up soon. Next week we have Lynn Jones, wife of Kelly Jones, comic book artist. So that'll be very interesting to get a perspective on what she thinks on some of this red pill movement is, because I don't know if she knows about any of it, to be honest. So, and I would love to hear about how her meeting the nerd space, kind of navigating that would have been for her. And then the week after, we have Legal Mindset. We're going to talk about Passport Bros, because he has a channel. Go East Gentlemen. So that'll be interesting for sure. Oh, yeah. And they're not Miami girls. And neither are they the Santa Barbara University girls that they get on the Whatever podcast.
Jeez. Those are the girls poor Max has to deal with. Everybody say a quick prayer for Max.
Yeah. For freaking sure. Oh, my gosh. J.H. Swalbuck. Hello. How was your trip, by the way, to, was it Greece that you went to? I think it was Greece. He was supposed to go, he went somewhere during the Vegas. I forgot where you went, JH. For 55-27, pretty specific there. If you guys are talking about this birth stuff, does that mean Ryan and Jeremy, G&G, will be talking about my prostate health? What? There needs to be balance in the universe. Love you all. I don't know if I want to hear about Ryan and Jeremy talking about any prostates, to be honest.
But also get your prostates checked, gentlemen. We don't want any we don't want any cancers in your and your testiculars.
Yeah, get that digital
Feel them up.
Digital rectal examination. Yeah. Oh my god. kind of off topic, off the rails here. I was talking to one of my coworkers because at work we do rectal contrast. So yeah. And we were talking about just like things that we've seen done. And she's like, on some of the like the younger ones, like under 50, like when you're doing that, sometimes they have gotten a flag. And like the funny part is because CT scans are slices, so you get, like the slices of the free flag. I can't, and especially when you get the side slices and it's pointing straight up, I died. Oh, anyways, sorry. Oh, it was Barcelona, Spain. I'm glad you had a great vacation. I'm sorry I talked about that just now.
I know, Admiral, that was exactly where my mind went.
Why would God put I guess I don't understand, but it is where it is. And when my coworker told me that, I'm like, I really forgot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Admiral, you're asking the same God about that question. He is also the same God that made your guys' bits on the outside and then made them sensitive. You know what I mean? So like we kick you and run away, or you sit on them wrong and you're doubled over and can't move for like 10 minutes. Like there's a sense of humor there.
Yeah.
The argument that God may be a woman, compelling with that one.
God might be a woman, and then men made the contraptions where women can't run away. Oh God. Okay, I feel like I've laughed too much tonight, but can I just end? I want to end this night off with a funny video that I found. I think it's good. I thought it was funny. I have a great flag. I'm calling it that from now on. Well,
another red flag for us to look out for. There's so many of them.
So this is Ben Affleck and Jennifer. Oh my God, not Aniston. Lopez. So it's so funny because he looks so tired.
I think he's just perpetually tired.
The way he closes the door.
He's so over her crap. Look at him.
And I think if he sees the camera guy like filming, it's just like right at the end, he's like, well, that face.
I love that. Honestly, I don't. Now that I see the ending of that, he didn't slam the door because of her. He slammed the door because they,
You're annoying as F right now.
They saw the paparazzi back there, and they were just like, I have met Ben Affleck in person. He's a gem. So I love him.
And it's like, he's still taking care of his woman. We talk a lot about women and how we don't like them doing this and that and this. But you guys, you can still do like things like open the door for the right woman, of course. You don't have to do it for all women.
Duke locks the door.
I've seen them in the car together. It's so funny. So he'll open her door, and then you'll see her reach across and try to open the door for him.
I reach across and I'll pop the door open for him if I can reach. I can't do it in his truck though. I can't reach it. But my car, like I'll reach over and I'll pop the door open. But he's literally locked the door. If I've beat him outside, especially in the garage, if I beat him outside and I get to the car first, it's like a game. He will literally lock it, so I can't open it. He'll come over and open the door and be like.
But I think that's nice because, like, if we can just be kinder to each other and do things out of their genuine goodness, I think that the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
We want women and men to be, like they're in a relationship with each other. Who would have thunk? So yeah.
And now I'm gonna go make my guy dinner.
Very nice. It's chow time. My Southern says my husband turned on the child safety locks until I stopped reaching for the door.
So you're saying mine's normal? Is that what you're saying? That's a normal thing? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Oh, dang. Yeah. So, this is a really fun one. I feel like I laughed so much this entire podcast. We've got some great guests coming up in the next 2 weeks. I'm so freaking excited about it. So, yeah, you guys will have to tune in. Tugs, you have anything coming up? You want to say? I know you're moving, so
I don't have anything coming up. I'm kind of winging it at this point. As you can see, I have stuff, but whatever. You guys can see it. I have boxes behind me. It's a whole story. Maybe I'll talk about it when I stream again if you guys are interested, but it's a whole drama. Anyway, but it's going great. I have a bunch. Also, if somebody in my nerd sphere knows if I can put like artwork and posters I've gotten at several conventions over the last however many years on like Poshmark or something that's not eBay, let me know. Because I'm trying to get rid of stuff. I'd like to get some cash back. Anyway, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't have anything that's scheduled. I'm just winging it. So I'm on Twitch.
Holocron, are you part of Tugs' Discord? Are you part of Tugs' Discord? If you're not,
yeah,
one of the mods can drop that in the chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe you should post it in Discord.
Maybe, yeah, I might. It's just,
Yeah,
it's not an exciting story. It's just a wild story. Well, not wild. It's just an interesting one. Just kind of like, oh well, you know, talk about having a plan A and a plan B. We're in plan C right now. So
yeah,
it's going great. You know, I've gotten rid of a bunch of stuff. It's good to declutter. So
exactly, we're doing a purge of your excess.
We're doing a purge. We're making good poor choices, not making poor choices.
Maybe we should make good choices with poor choices.
Ooh, yeah, there has been alcohol involved. I'm not gonna lie.
Hello,
Hi, Wicked.
I know we're like wrapping up right now. So tomorrow I have D&D at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna do Star Trek at 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe, and we're gonna bring back movie reactions. I'm gonna revamp it so I don't get struck on YouTube. So it's literally just gonna be my face.
Horror movies.
It's probably gonna be my face with just like the subtitles, maybe.
Horror movies. Movies.
And a time code or something like that. So, yeah, more news to come once I figure that out on my like on my Streamlabs, as well as locals. I post something on locals about the movie reaction. So, but go over there if you're a supporter and find out what that means. And what else? I've been playing Breath of the Wild and probably gonna play Tears of the Kingdom when it comes out on Friday. And so, yeah. And next week, Lynn Jones. I'm excited.
Lynn
If you guys have any questions, maybe what we'll do is we'll put in the community section.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the day before to see if you guys have any questions, as well as Twitter, because I you know, she's been married to Kelly for a couple decades. We'll clarify that how long. And she seems like such a lovely lady, and definitely not in the nerd sphere. And I think it's very interesting. I'm very interested because I feel similar to her in a sense, but maybe have gotten into more of the nerd sphere than she has. But who knows? Maybe she actually is a huge nerd, and I just don't know what the nerdy stuff is.
So Kelly Jones is her husband?
Yes.
Partner?
Yes, husband. Comic book artist.
Artiste.
He's been on the Real BBC.
Ah.
Yeah.
So there we go. I was spelling it wrong. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And JS Pena, we do want to get Melanie Mac, but I'm waiting for her to finish moving and get herself settled until I ask, because I want her to feel at least a bit more comfortable and not stressed about having to do extra shows, because she still needs to do her own stuff, get her stuff done first, and then of course we'll come after. So yeah, chat, you've been awesome. I love you guys. I love you, Tugs. And this has been really fun. This is a really fun one. So much love to y'all. And I guess we will see you guys later. Bye.